Hope you guys enjoyed that short little quick teaser trailer because I honestly enjoyed filming it. But for this portion of the video, I want to go over the behind the scenes and what it took for me to be able to get the look that I achieved for this film. So the whole motivation for this entire little film that I created was to be more of a horror hostile situation type of film. Nothing too crazy since I knew that I was going to shoot this entire thing by myself, but something fun. This whole film I used what's called manipulation. Nothing that you saw in this film was real. Yes, even the campfire wasn't real. So let's talk about that. With the campfire, I was going to use a real fire and get the real fire in frame, but I just didn't have enough firewood to be able to do that. So I figured just take my Nanlite 150B and utilize that as a key light. Even if I had a real fire, I was still going to have to use the Nanlite because the real fire just wouldn't have been enough light, or I wouldn't be able to get that light soft enough like how I wanted to. So I just utilized using the Nanlite. I sent the tungsten to about 2700 kelvins, and then I threw a softbox on it because I wanted the light to be soft. I know with a real campfire, you're not going to get a soft burning look like that, but I didn't care. I just really wanted the image to be soft, so I threw a softbox on it. And because I shot everything pretty tight, I was able to get the light as close as possible to soften the image even more. So first things first, we have to change the color temperature. Since this is a bicolor light, I'm able to do that. I'm gonna set it to around 2700 kelvins and roll with that and see how that is looking. Now that I did that, the next step is going to be recreating the smoke. I have a fog machine that I mentioned earlier as well that needs to charge for about 3 to 5 minutes before I'm able to actually use the fog. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in and then play around with the lighting some more. Now, like with any other campfire, there is going to be smoke involved. And I had a plan for that. I knew since I wasn't using a real fire, I have to utilize adding some type of smoke into my image. And I have a fog machine that I bought years ago from music videos that I never opened, I never touched. I pulled it out and I went to use it and it just didn't work. This right here is my trusty fog machine that I bought a couple of years ago from music videos, and it's brand new. I have never opened it out the box because every single time I try to shoot a music video, either the client wanted to be an outdoor run and gun style, or if we did ever rent a studio, the studio that we rented on Peerspace had smoke machines already available, so didn't need mine. And then this is the fog juice that I also bought couple years ago and I never opened. All you pretty much do is open the fog juice, you literally pour it inside this cap right here and let it heat up, and that's it. Let me know in the comment section below, what are some accessories that you guys bought for your filmmaking career that you just never use? For me, this is definitely one of them. This truly is the best part about filmmaking. I was playing around with the fog machine before I even started anything, and it was working. And now it won't turn on and it's not working. So now I have no fog to recreate a fake fire. So that just sucks. Wow, my fog machine, never even used it. Now it just doesn't want to work. I'm hitting the button on the remote, does not want to work. Whatever, figure it out. After I filmed the entire video, when I went inside, plugged the fog machine inside, it ended up working. So I was extremely mad about that. So for this film, I wasn't able to generate any type of smoke. So I kind of just left it as it is. Now with Nanlite and even Aputure lighting, they have different effects that are built into their light systems. And so I just chose a fire effect, and that's why you see that flicker going on and off as if it's emulating a real fire. When again, this is all just manipulation. I'm trying to get the viewer, you, to believe that there is a campfire burning right in front of me or somewhere close to me. And that's basically it for the key light. I pretty much set it up as if I was doing a regular sit down interview, and I placed the camera on the opposite side of the key light, filming my shadow side. Now for the moonlight, this was very scary to do because there is some films out there that do moonlight scenes and sometimes they just look too blue, and I'm honestly guilty of making my images look too blue sometimes, and I feel like when it looks really blue, it's not a realistic moonlight look, and I wanted to get that realistic moonlight look. So now my preferred light choice was a Aputure Amaran tube light. I was going to use my Amaran 60D, but I ran out of outlets. I was in my backyard and I don't have a generator, so I just end up using my tube light. I set the color temperature to about 5600 kelvins to match the daylight color, and I had it at about 10%. I didn't want it too bright because it would have been pretty unrealistic. And then I set my camera white balance to around 3900 kelvins. So we have the key light at 2700 kelvins, the Amaran tube light at 5600 kelvins, and then the camera white balance was set to 3900 kelvins. And the tube light was a necessity to have because the background was just too dark. I was getting just lost in the shadows and I didn't want that. I wanted to create more separation. And again, I wanted to manipulate a moonlight look, a moonlight feel, but realistically. So I'm gonna show you here, this is how the image looked with no lights. And then this is how the image looked with just the key light. And then this is how the image looked with the tube light. As you can see here, they all played a corresponding role together. I couldn't have got the look that I initially wanted if I didn't have this setup. And it's not even a complex setup. It's very minimal. If I had a bigger space and I had more time, I did end up staying to like 11 o'clock at night filming this entire video. I'm not a night person, so 11 o'clock for me is pretty late. Also forgot to mention this entire film was shot on the 35mm focal length for all the tight shots, even the fake macro shots. Everything was shot on the 35. No specific reason. Well, honestly, it's because I was just really lazy and it does have a fast aperture of a 1.4 and it was really dark and I didn't use the second base ISO. I only used the first base ISO. So that's why I used it for the entire film. But I'm making this entire video just to tell you guys, if you want to create a great film that you're really proud of, you need to understand these four things. Number one, you have to be good at storytelling. Story is everything. You can have the greatest looking image, but with no story, your viewer is going to click off. No one's going to pay attention to a bad story. It's just that simple. Second, composition. Composition is just as equally important as storytelling. You need to know how to set up your frames and make your frames sit right and feel right. Number three is going to be what everyone tells you, lighting. It's a no-brainer. Stop neglecting it. I'm not going to talk too much about that. You know you need lights. Go out there and buy lights. Number four, just for fun, but it's going to be haze. Even though I wasn't able to use haze like how I wanted to for this image, I know if I was able to, man, it probably would just took this film to the next level. Adding haze is a great way to just add some more texture to your films. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to catch you in the next video. I'll be on to. Buongiorno.